we did some really interesting things, but I think I'm not allowed to share. I think I felt that impulse that I really want to try this out because it's just so strong within me that I didn't really want to play classical, a bit more wild, or I don't know how to say it. Yeah, play music from Hans Zimmer. It's really special and feels this unique and special moments that we are feeling on stage. I think what is great about this particular show that it doesn't give you this pressure. The whole pressure is much less, which I think is great because then you can really approach it from a different perspective, you know. Out, and then I just got stuck at one moment. This got off. I just didn't hear. I was like panicking for a moment. I need to know because you need to hear the click, and then of course maybe before the first run, you know, there are still things that, you know, there are just so many things that you have to think about.
Hi everyone, it's Atif from Zebra Home Cinema. Welcome to episode 13 of Zebra Spotlight. This is my platform for celebrating talent across the globe and honouring the amazing people that produce the magic we love to enjoy. Now, our guest today is one of Vienna's most talented musicians and prize winner of numerous national and international competitions throughout Europe, including Spain, Croatia, Slovenia, Bulgaria and Austria. In 2016, she received the Start Scholarship of the Austrian Chancellor as one of the most outstanding young artists living in Vienna. Born in a family of musicians, her musical education began at the age of 5 when she started her violin lessons in Novi Sad, Serbia. After moving to Slovenia, she began her percussion lessons at the age of 11 and later on continued her studies in Vienna. In 2016, she graduated from the Music and Arts University of the city of Vienna, receiving a Bachelor and Master of Arts degree. In recent years, she has been touring arenas worldwide and collaborating with the internationally celebrated film music composer Hans Zimmer. In his words, she is such a phenomenal musician, embracing the traditions and revolutionizing our future. I'll never write another piece for percussion without having her add her creative grace and fire to it. Alexandra Šuklar, welcome to Zebra Spotlight.
Thank you so much for this nice introduction, and thank you for your invitation.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's such an honor to be able to speak with some of the world's most talented musicians. So I'm just very, very grateful that you've accepted the invitation. And I know all of you are extremely busy. Obviously, you've got the live tour going on all across the world at the moment. But right now you're in Slovenia.
Oh, I'm in Slovenia right now visiting my family actually, but a couple of days ago I've been in a jury of the Slovenian competition in percussion, and I was there for a couple of days judging the wonderful young talented percussionists that were between 15 and 23 years old. And yeah, it's been really inspiring to see the new young generations playing percussion, showing their best, and just seeing percussion improving and witnessing its path. So yeah, that's why I'm here now.
Incredible, and it's so wonderful to be able to be at that level and then be so influential and I guess guiding the younger generation to just, you know, for excellence.
Well, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe not. I don't know. But like the task actually, I mean, of course, very honored and thankful to get the role to judge this competition. But it is a very, very challenging task to do simply because you are supposed to judge art, and art is really difficult to be judged and to rank everyone accordingly and make these small differences. It's just very challenging, but yeah, that's how simply competitions are. And I know that from my perspective, for example, when I used to do competitions, I really did it with the goal so I can improve my playing, that I have just simply this deadline until when I should prepare and invest as much time as possible for preparing this repertoire and bringing it to a certain level. So that's why I think that competitions are really good. But now seeing it from the other side, when you're in the jury, then it's like, oh my God, you know.
I mean, I guess
ranking and giving.
it must be
And
incredibly tough because I guess technically you have to be of a certain caliber technically to perform. And then it goes into sort of the whole subjective, emotive, how does it make you feel when they're performing? And there's so many factors, I guess, come into it. It must be very, very difficult to judge.
yeah, exactly, because it's just yes, technical ability, preparation of the program, but then again about this artistic stage presence, musicality, how do you simply, what kind of impression do you leave while you're on stage, you know, all these little things. And it's really difficult. It's really difficult to judge that, because in sports, you know, it's time simply. You know, who is the fastest is simply the fastest. There is like no dilemma about it, you know. And here are just so many different attributes playing up this role, who you want to be, you know, rewarded and where to. Yeah, so but yeah, that's how it is. I still think that it's worth doing a competition because you yourself are going to improve, but I know that looking at it from the other side, yeah, it looks a bit different and much more difficult than one would think. Yeah.
Now, in terms of let's talk about you're touring at the moment. You're touring with Hans Zimmer at the moment. How's that going at the moment?
Oh, well, I'm very excited. We are starting the next tour. We're leaving on April 18th for the rehearsals. And after that, we have our first show in Oberhausen. And we did some really, really nice things recently when we performed in Dubai, which was end of January. So it was great to be reunited with the whole group and this amazing band of musicians with Hans himself, of course. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the upcoming tour in April.
Yes, Dubai looked like a lot of fun according to your Instagram. You guys seem to be having a blast.
Yeah, we did some really interesting things, but I think I'm not allowed to share it yet. You'll find out, but it
won't go there.
You saw some photos maybe from the desert and things like that. So yeah, maybe just as a tiny little idea of what could it be. Yeah, we were a bit in the desert. Yeah.
Right. So let's get on to finding a little bit more about you. So your musical career, we're going all the way back to the tender age of 5, where you started learning violin. And then how did you progress and end up moving towards sort of drumming and percussion?
Oh, it was kind of a thing that I actually didn't really enjoy playing the violin. So I was quitting for a couple of times, but since my parents are both musicians, they really asked me that if please I can just finish this primary school in violin, which here in Slovenia it takes 6 years. So I said, okay, I'll do it. I mean, I had no choice because they really wanted me, you know, to have this. If you start something, you have to do it until the end. That was like also the educational thing behind all that. But at the same time, I know that I went to a couple of percussion concerts, and I heard some, just simply whenever I would hear drumming, I felt that impulse that I really want to try this out because it's just so strong within me. And then I got really lucky to get really, really great percussion teachers that were super cool. It was just like this super cool world, and they were so friendly, and everything was just so much more chilled. And simply, I just felt like, wow, this is like, I just feel so good in this world, you know? Yeah, so it wasn't difficult to make the decision. I somehow knew, like, I started with 11, and with 13 I knew just, oh my god, this is what I want to do. Simply my lifelong, I just want to play percussion.
Wow.
So then I was striving to that simply path. Yeah,
I mean, it's an incredible journey, and something about coincidence and timing, the fact that you were drawn to something, you felt something within, you had a wonderful teacher, made you feel comfortable, and if anything, those ingredients together just help you flourish, and the rest is history.
Yeah, exactly. And I think really it is important. Well, of course, also I have to say that since the groove and drums, they're not really classical instrument, and that's somehow that also was calling me more into that direction, that I didn't really want to play classical music, but I wanted to explore something a bit more new and a bit more wild, or I don't know how to say it. Yeah.
And I think, I mean, we'll come on to it later on, but that definitely comes across in the group that you're with during the Hans Zimmer live tour. You can tell that, all of these are world-class musicians, but there's something very, very groovy and very, I guess, informal, just a lot of fun on stage.
Definitely. It's just so unique and special to be united with all these musicians from all parts of the world, each with their independent story, and then play music from Hans Zimmer. It's really special, and Hans's music really brings you to so many different levels, to some ecstatic moments, to your most intimate moments. Like, you really, all these emotions just get really awaken, and it's such a pleasure to do it on this tour and to perform it live. So we truly hope that also the audience feels this unique and special moments that we are feeling on stage.
Now, this is a very simple question for people who aren't aware of classical music or instruments and things, but a very maybe naive question, but what are the main differences between drumming and percussion?
Difference between drumming and percussion?
Yeah, so people often say, well, there's a pair of drums, there's like a glockenspiel or something else that you can hit or tap. From a technical or musician's viewpoint, what would you say the main difference is? How do you know whether you want to be a drummer or a percussionist?
Well, I think you just feel it.
I knew you were going to say that.
actually, the thing was that I really wanted to play drums at the beginning. I was just like, I want to play drums, drum set, like drum kit with cymbals and kick drum and tom-toms, like that's what you see in a normal band. But then I got to discover all the other percussion instruments. So I would say the drum set is something that one would play in a band, in some kind of jazz formations, or you can of course also find it in some wind orchestras, and depends on the, of course, direction and style of music that one is playing. We have, of course, two amazing drum set players in Hans Zimmer live, which are Holly Madge and Aisha Jijeli. On the other hand, when I discovered percussion, so this was coming like really step by step. I started with snare drum, then it was drum set, then I got to play xylophone, vibraphone, marimba, timpani. So all these other percussion, and then you get also to play like multi-percussion setups, which means that there are simply more percussion instruments united into a setup, which can range from small setups, which means you will have maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 different drums and some additional small percussion, until like really gigantic things where I don't know, I needed like 2 days to build it, like
wow.
to put everything
That's
together.
Incredible.
And
2
so
days
on.
to build.
Well, I was not at my best skills yet with building setup, I admit, but sometimes it definitely can take you a couple of hours depending on which range of setup are you working on, and sometimes you have to figure out how are you going to mount things, what are you going to use. So, but what I want to say, like, there are really works written for percussion instruments if you decide to study them in that way, in that kind of classical way. So there are really composers who have written really amazing and cool pieces for percussion, marimba solo, vibraphone solo, multi-percussion, timpani, And that's where you approach this actually in a very studying way, like you learn the piece and everything is written. Maybe there are some small improv parts, but that's just really indicated from the composer. So basically you really perform what's written, and it's not just like, oh, I'm just going to drum whatever I think I should do now in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And have there been moments where you've had to travel or send components over to the concert venue or wherever you're performing because you want to use that particular piece of equipment?
Yeah, well, especially in Hans Zimmer Live, there are a couple of instruments that I have to send, and a couple of us have to send in advance, just to, because you still want to use this specific sound or this specific instrument. So it's really cool if you can use your own then and contribute to the mutual sound also of the show. Yeah.
Fantastic. And how was your introduction into sort of film music composition, and how did you get involved with Hans Zimmer Live Tour?
Well, there is an orchestra in Vienna, which was found maybe 7-8 years ago. I'm not exactly sure, which is called Synchron Stage Orchestra. And I used to record there regularly for film music productions for upcoming Hollywood movies. Sorry. So that's where a conductor who was conducting the sessions at that time, he said that there is a new project coming up called World of Hans Zimmer, and that if I would be interested in taking part at it. And then I said, yes, sure, of course. But I didn't know exactly what is this going to be. How is this going to be like? I didn't know that I would be part of the band. I didn't know all of this. This was just, hey, these are the dates. Are you free? I'm like, sure, I'm free. Let's do it, And then it took a while. It took a while until I got confirmed, but I really had to send. Then finally I found out that this band thing, that I would be a band member, that we would be a couple of people. They sent me already a list who is already in. And yeah, I had to send my recordings, my biography, any material that I had. And then Hans had to approve it. And he approved it. And that's how I started with World of Hans Zimmer. And after that, when he saw us perform, I think it was Hollywood in Vienna, which we did in 2018, that's when Hans approached me and said that he would really like to have me at Hans Zimmer Live Tour. And that's then how the story continued.
Wow. And how did that feel at the time?
Well, it felt amazing, but still I wasn't like, sure, is this really going to happen or not? I was extremely happy and honored, to hear that from him. But I know that I didn't say to anyone nothing about it, because I just was waiting that this is really happening, and then it did really happen. Yeah.
And you obviously your parents must have been incredibly proud of that moment as well.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I think so. Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough to watch you play in Manchester last time. It's a phenomenal concert, and of course this had the new pieces from the Dune film. We had elements of Bond, No Time to Die, and it was such a fabulous comeback tour post-COVID. The whole spectacle is just amazing, but it's obviously some of the musicians get to come to the forefront, like Pedro, who I interviewed recently, and everyone sort of highlighted. And of course, your sequences are very, very dramatic. They're so intense. What's it like on stage at that moment in time for you?
Well, when it's about Dune, it just feels so out of this world. Simply, it feels so, I don't know, I feel like in some kind of trance. Like it's so powerful. It's really powerful. And then when Loire starts singing, like, I don't know, it's so strong. And then when the groove comes, it's really powerful. yeah, many amazing things are happening while you're performing this, and I'm really glad that we get the chance to experience that. Yeah, so I think that the Dune and Dark Phoenix are really the ones where I'm just like somewhere else simply. Yeah.
And now watching you guys perform, I mean, it's just perfection on stage. Everything's so meticulous and well coordinated. Can you share with us maybe stories where things haven't gone well, or some behind the scenes, any amusing stories you want to share with us?
Well, I have to say that the show that you saw, which is, I think, great. We had, of course, a lot of preparations. We had first 10 days only percussionists to really prepare it and split exactly the parts, who is playing what, and decide who is playing what, and, just make this somehow the core of the group section really stand strong together. And then we had a couple of weeks of rehearsals with the whole band. And then orchestra joined. And the dancers, singers. So this is the whole, structure build up until the result that you've seen. And what is really also, I think, great that the show was still changing a little bit. Like there were still some things changing up according to also Hans's wishes, and when you have run it a couple of times, then you just see maybe some things would fit better in a different way, and so on. So yeah, I don't know about something that didn't go well.
Maybe a piece of equipment, I don't know, didn't turn up, or something just before you were about to begin.
I don't know. I mean, to me it can sometimes happen that because you play with these in-ear monitors, and then there is it's like plugged in, and then because I have this setup, I'm turning around and I have to go out, and then I just got stuck at one moment. This got off. I just didn't hear. I was like panicking for a moment. I need because you need to hear the click and everything, but luckily everything turned out well. I didn't miss the entrance. It was fine. But yeah, these are just simply some unpredictable things that can happen. Yeah.
And I mean, do you ever get nervous before performances, or is it you have an out-of-body experience and Alexandra just does what she does?
You mean that? Excuse me.
So sometimes some performers they still get a little bit nervous, and they still get a little bit not necessarily stage fright, but the nerves kick in, and clammy hands and the heartbeat going fast. Obviously, when you're first starting out, or when you do your very first concert, you probably very, very nervous and excited at the same time. Do you still have those feelings, or is it just complete like riding a bicycle where you're just going into the zone?
Well, no, performance is never like riding a bicycle, but I would say that for this particular show, of course, maybe before the first run, there are still things that, there are just so many things that you have to think about. Moving here, moving there, playing this here, so many logistical things. So yeah, of course, you are just a bit like, you want to do it all right, yeah. But I think what is great about this particular show that it doesn't give you this pressure than, for example, than one would experience at a solo recital or solo with orchestra, because there you are much more exposed in a way, and here you are part of this great group of people that are creating together this experience. So the whole pressure is much less, which I think is great, because then you can really maybe approach it from a different perspective.
What I love on stage is just the positive energy that everyone just seems to be. You can tell just everyone's having so much fun, and they love what they do, and it's almost a celebration of immense power together, which is quite extraordinary.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And especially after a while, if we haven't, like, for example, we haven't seen each other since May. So the first show in Dubai, we were like, wow, we just felt so, this energy contained since so long. And now finally we are there reunited. So those are the moments that are really special. Really, really special.
Wow. And so later on, I believe the tour is now starting, and I think the UK is going to be in June.
I don't know the dates exactly because once I can check, but yeah, probably in June. Yeah, but I don't know the dates by heart because once you are on the road, you just follow.
Well, just to let the audience know, if you haven't booked your tickets, well, it's way too late because it's fully sold out. So just to let you know, which is fantastic. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you all perform later on this year. It's just going to be fabulous.
We're all. I mean, I'm sure that everyone else is also very excited and very much looking forward to play for you, for the audience, and looking very much forward to be in the UK.
And I mean, in terms of the performance, if for people who've never been, you guys don't just perform and play musical instruments. That you actually, there's a whole, you really give parts of your personality out. There's a lot of actual stage performance that you guys do whilst playing music, which is part of the fun.
Yeah, well, it definitely is. It's just what Hans's music brings out of you simply, and it's. I think that each of us is really showing their true self. So.
And coming on to something probably not quite related to performing, I don't know whether you get time to watch TV dramas and watch movies and enjoy music, but would you care to share with us some of your favorite music tracks or TV or movie titles?
Like, I don't know, some of my favorite movies that Hans has composed the music for are...
It doesn't have to be Hans. I know we will keep Hans happy.
But in any case, I know that of course Lion King, since the childhood, like, it's really, really a masterpiece. Inception, Interstellar, Rush. But otherwise, I really love Knives Out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The Departed. The Sound of Music. Yeah, those would be somehow my maybe favorite movies that I like to get back once in a while.
And any particular favorite sort of musical artists or music tracks that you'd love to share?
That are not connected to film music?
Anything that Alexandra loves.
Well, yeah, I really love listening to D'Angelo. I used to listen a lot to Marcus Miller. A while ago, Amy Winehouse. What else? Yeah, but definitely D'Angelo and Marcus Miller have been really on my playlist, like, really for a while. Also Betty Davis. I think that would be
fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know you were involved in the music composition for the film Dune, and we're all looking forward to the sequel. But the music in the film is just phenomenal. You've also been involved. I think you did something for Netflix not too long ago.
Well, for Dune, I did record for the trailer. And I think that the music really is phenomenal of that movie. Like, it's really, wow, the first time I heard it, it was really, really, really special for me. I really thought, because I got the chance to hear it a bit before the movie. It was really, really amazing for me to hear it. It really awakened in me. It has awakened in me something really unique. I did record for Army of Thieves. And then also Boss Baby 2. And now I just finished recording, I think like maybe about 10 days ago for an upcoming movie, but I'm not allowed to say yet which one is it.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to hearing that. And apart from the tour later on this year, what else are you going to be up to? What if people want to book and come and see you? Where can they find you later on in the year?
Well, there are not the dates for the upcoming season have not been completely fixed yet, so I would suggest that you just stay tuned when I will be posting something on my social media and my website, where I still have to update all the dates. But yeah, lately I've been just focusing on creating myself and starting to explore world of composing in my own skin. So yeah, that's kind of the plan, to work on it and just to work on something that it's mine.
Fantastic.
For the next couple of months. So yeah, that's the plan.
What a wonderful plan. I love the fact that everything's just so open and flexible, and at the end of the day, it's wonderful to see you loving what you're doing and having fun.
Yes, that's really, it really is special, and it really feels, I mean, in a way, I feel really privileged that I'm allowed to do what I really love to do, and that it really doesn't feel like it's work. I mean, it's never work. It's just like really just joy and enjoying it. And it feels really great that, you know, even when you have to go like to practice, the concert is coming, I just really enjoy the process of practicing, the process of seeing yourself, improving and exploring, and how you can dig into this world of your emotions and, you know, your technical skills, and just be creative. Yeah.
And you also run masterclasses, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. The last one I did was in September in Vienna, which was a summer percussion academy from Nebojša Živković, who used to be my professor. I finished my studies with him. And yeah, occasionally I give clinics, teach, make some workshops. And yeah, there should be one coming up, which will be an online course specifically for composers. But yeah, I also cannot share too many details. So just stay tuned about all of these exciting things that are coming up.
Fantastic. Well, all your links will be in the comment section on the published when we upload the podcast. So your social links will be on there, your website will be on there. You're easily contactable, and so anyone in the world who wants a masterclass with you, wants to contact you, all the details are going to be in the links. Alexandra, thank you so much for your time, for contributing to this podcast. We wish you all the best later on in the Hans Zimmer Live Tour and all your work later on this year. It's such a joy to see you perform, and we can't wait to see more of you later on this year. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast, and really, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm really looking forward to see you in Manchester.
Likewise.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And wish you all the best.
Thank you.